Hi everybody, welcome back to the Crime Lab. So today we're going to be talking about the murder case of Stanley Neace. So he was not killed, he was actually the murderer in this situation. So he is known for killing 5 members of his family and himself in a murder-suicide, as well as there were neighbors that were involved in this case as well. Little disclaimer, viewer discretion is advised. Talking about briefly about murder and some of that stuff. If this is not your thing, feel free to skip this video. This is going to be a shorter video as it's a pretty quick case. I couldn't find a ton of information. Most of my information came from news articles about the investigation and the murders. So it happened in Breathitt County, Mount Carmel mobile home community about 30 miles south of Lexington, Kentucky. So a little bit about Stanley, the little bit that I was able to find. He was arrested one time in 1993 with charges of sodomy involving a child, which is a felony. So he could have been considered a child molester. In 1998, pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor of third-degree sexual abuse and placed on probation for 2 years, so up until about 2000. And his rights were restored in 2002, so he would be able to vote, buy a handgun, that sort of thing. Sherry Ann Robinson, who was a relative of 2 of the victims, was a witness to the shooting. So now we're getting into the shooting, the events of it. Again, it's going to be very quick. I wasn't able to find a ton of information regarding this case. All of my information came from news clippings, excuse me. So she reported that the rampage started after Neace became irate with how his wife, Sandra, had cooked his eggs that morning. So at about 11:30, there was about a dozen shots that were heard fired from a 12-gauge shotgun. They killed a total of 5 people, including his wife and a couple of his neighbors. So the victims were 54-year-old wife Sandra Neace, 28-year-old Sandra Strong, who was Sandra's daughter, 31-year-old Dennis Turner, 30-year-old Teresa Fugate, and 30-year-old Tammy Kilborn. State Police Tony Watts reported that they didn't immediately have a full scope of what happened during the rampage, but reported that Robinson had told officials that Fugate, her sister, were killed in front of their daughter. The daughter reportedly told Neace, please don't shoot me. And he responded with, all right, you can leave. And she ran out to the neighbor's house where police were called. And so, the daughter, or I believe it was Sherry Robinson's daughter, told Stanley, hey, don't shoot me, I'm scared. He was like, okay, you can leave, And so she, of course, left, was able to get out of their home, was able to run to a neighbor's place, and they were able to call 911. They didn't know how many people at that point were killed. They really didn't know much. They had just heard shots, and this young girl was able to get out. So one thing that I was also able to find was that neighbors had reported that Stanley's temper had been greatly escalating over the last several months. And the landlord had actually had several reports about it. And he had actually started the eviction process to get Stanley and his family out of there because there was just so many reports of bad behavior, tempers, fighting, all that sort of stuff. Like I said, this is a very short video. I was not able to find a ton of information, unfortunately. I just found it a very interesting case. But if anybody has any comments, concerns, emotional outbursts about it, feel free to leave those in the comments. If you have any cases that you'd want me to look into, want me to do a video on, leave those in the comments as well. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you like the videos that I'm putting out. Feel free to leave suggestions for future videos as well. Have a great rest of your day, guys.